Hey everyone, it's Heather Leopard here for today's Tool Time segment with Imaginisce. I'm going to show you some fun things you can do with their iBond cordless glue gun. Now I didn't realize I needed a cordless glue gun until I actually had it, and now I couldn't live without it. It's so nice to not have to worry about all my little tools fighting over the electrical outlets. Now it takes 4 AA batteries, and I just bought some rechargeables just because it's more economical, and I keep one set charged and one set in the actual iBond. Now that I don't have to worry about finding an open electrical outlet, I pull this baby out all the time. It also has this cool little flashlight so that you can see what you're trying to glue even better. You can use any low temp glue stick, but I love all the different colors that Imaginisce offers. And here's just a selection of some of the colors. Now let me show you a couple of techniques that I like to do with the iBond, and I'll walk you through a couple of projects. The first thing I'm going to show you is how easy it is to make gorgeous dimensional flowers. Imaginisce also makes these paper and fabric flowers. They're actually called roly posies that you can easily roll with a pedal roller. You just stick them in the little slot and you roll it around until it reaches the end. And then it's got this little, what I like to refer to as landing strip. And I just add some glue there. And release. And the flower just kind of forms itself. And then I can manipulate it to look however I'd like. I'm actually gonna make this one a little bit bigger because of what I'm about to show you. Okay, so there's your little flower, and you can leave it like that, or what you can do is actually add another glob of glue on the inside, however thick you'd like. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is add some micro beads to the inside. So I just pour those in there and just let them sit and dry for a minute. And then dump them out. You may have to blow some of them away. But anyways, there you go. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some fun things that you can do with the glue to add unique elements to your projects. So I cut this little banner out of the little cuties line that Imaginisce just came out with. And I'm actually going to run a bead of the pink across the top like so. And I'm actually doing this kind of generously because I want it to show through whenever I put the twine down. Alright, so I just covered that up. And now I'm just going to press my twine in until I get the look that I was going for. Okay, now let's think outside the box a little bit here. Get some wax paper and a stamp and Versamark ink. Now I created this really cute little embellishment by stamping on a glob of hot glue. And first I applied embossing ink to the little girl stamp. There we go. I used this little stamp that's part of the little cutie line. And then I made a puddle of glue and stamped into it while it was hot. And this is actually what it looked like after I stamped into it. Okay, and so then I just took my fine tip scissors and I trimmed around it until I came up with this little girl here. From there I experimented with items that have good dimension. I made sure it was something that will resist it well when I pulled it off. So I pulled out some plastic canvas that I had. And again, I just made a big old glop of glue, pressed it on. I didn't press it in too deep because I didn't want the glue to actually seep over the edges and make it too difficult to pull apart. So I just lightly pressed it in there. And once it was dried, I pulled it off. And this is the effect that I got. Of course, you could make this any size that you wish. Now let me walk you through a couple of quick projects. I'm using this clear card here, and I already pre-cut and attached the paper to the card. And I'm going to pull out that cute little banner that we made earlier, and I'm going to adhere it to the top of the card. So I'll just add a little bit of glue here, and then I'll attach it to the card like so. And then I'll just trim off any excess on the sides there. Or it might kind of look cute like that, just hanging over. Okay, then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some cute little flowers. These are the die cuts that came with that same little cutie line. And I'm just going to sprinkle them on here. Okay, so I just switched out the pink to the purple glitter. And what I'm going to do is actually add some cute little globs of glue right there to the top of each of these, just to give them a little dimension. You don't have to worry about the little strays of the glue. Those will actually come off on their own. You could just kind of wipe them away. There you go. And that last one. Now I want to show you something fun you can do with buttons. It's so super easy. I made another clear card. Apparently I'm addicted to them right now. But I wanted to keep it pretty simple because the design on the inside is actually quite busy. So what I decided to do is just add a little ribbon there. And then I have these 3 buttons. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a glob, a big brown glob of glue right there. Okay. And then I'm going to mash the button over it so that the brown, seeps through the outside as well as through the buttonholes. And then I'll do that again right here for the yellow. And again, I want to press that down as hard as I can so that it seeps through. And now again for the blue. So how fun is that, right? Can you see it close? So it seeped through the buttonholes as well as around the edges, and I think it just adds a nice little touch to the card. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to show you today was some flowers that I made to dress up a pearl necklace that I have. And here's my pearl necklace. I love it as it is. I will continue to wear it that way, but I also wanted to create something that I could do to kind of dress it up when I want to, or just, you know, kind of add some fun to it. So I created these from the pink swirls from the new Roly Rosies. These are the fabric ones. And all I'm going to do here is I'll just keep using my blue, but I'm actually just going to add some more glue there and just adhere it to this one and allow that to dry. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And I kind of want it to be in an arch because I'm going to put this around my neck. So I'll just put a generous amount of glue right there. And it really doesn't matter, you know, what color you use, but because you can't really see through to the back side of it. Okay, so once that has dried, we actually have these new badge combos. They're actually a badge pin combo, and I'm going to adhere this to the back side of the middle one of these flowers. So as this is drying, I'll actually add a pretty generous amount of glue here because I want it to stick well. Okay. So I'll just add it like so, and I'll make sure that you can't actually see any of it from the front. So there we go. I've got this sweet little pin, and I could actually wear this as a pin on my shirt, but I'm actually going to string it on this pearl necklace here. I'm going to tighten it up a little bit, and all I'm going to do is just thread this through the little hole, this part of the clip, the alligator clip, through that hole, through both of the holes. So there's my new necklace. Okay, so there's so many fun things that you can do with this tool, from traditional things that you would use your glue gun for you know, crafty or non-crafty to whatever your mind can really imagine. Now here's a few more things that come to mind. I like to glam up a page by applying the glue, especially the glitter glue, as a border, dots, maybe a frame. You could outline some embellishments. And I also apply it in various shapes to wax paper. Like I told you earlier, I just peel it off and then I can use it as a misting mask. So, you know, although it may be an abstract design, it could be a really cool design when you mist over it, and then all you have to do is just lift it up and you've got a really cool effect. You can also make it look like paint splatters on a project, and if you're doing that, I would keep all of those little glue strings there for added effect. You could alter chipboard alphas to make unique titles. You could smear a glob of glue across a layout to give it a painted look effect. And when I say that, I'm actually talking about, if you ever watch any cooking shows, a lot of times they'll put, you know, a big old glop of sauce, and then they'll take a spoon and they'll spread it out. So that's what I was thinking, is if you kind of just made like some really cool effects with some tools that will actually resist the glue, but keep it stuck on the paper or whatever project you're working on. And the possibilities are really endless. I won't go into all the non-crafty things that I use my glue gun for, but hopefully you've seen how easy and functional it is and how much it can add to your project when you push yourself to really think outside the box. And don't forget that you can take it with you anywhere you want without worrying about finding an electrical outlet. So that's it for today's tool time. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.